Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are back with Larissa Soehn, and yeah, she's an internationally well-known, published, and of course, best-selling author. Also, she runs her own company, yeah, as a publisher. Next Page Publishing is the name of the company, and she's here to talk more about the work she does worldwide to really help so many people. Let me have her introduce herself. Hi.
Hi, Jill. It's so good to be here again. I look forward to these shows every week coming on and talking about how Next Page Publishing shows up in this world to help authors. Are you still there, Jill? Sorry, you're frozen.
Yeah. Oh, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're okay. Good. Sorry. You're very smiley. So that's good.
Oh, good.
How we help international authors become bestsellers with their nonfiction books. And we work with some incredible, heartfelt entrepreneurs. That's our target audience. That's who we aim to lift up and give a stage to tell their story on their terms and grow their business and get on international speaking stages and show up in the way that they want, leave that legacy item for their children, for their future generations, something that they can look back on with extreme pride. And it's just been an absolute honor to serve these people and give them this opportunity to write their own book, become that international best-selling author.
Oh my goodness. Yay. What is your website? How do we find you?
Yeah, you can find us at nextpagepublishing.net. And we have a lot of really great resources on there. We've got our blog, we've got our own podcast that we go on. So for aspiring authors that are looking for some resources and tips on how to just navigate this crazy world, head over to nextpagepublishing.net. If you like to read, we've got the blog. If you like to listen, we've got the podcast. If you're interested in coaching and publishing services, we've got those listed out there too. So nextpagepublishing.net.
Oh my goodness. Awesome. Thank you so much. This is exciting work you do. And what did you want to share with us for today's show, Larissa?
Yeah, today is an interesting one because I think it's a topic that all writers, regardless of where they're at in their writing journey, even if they're just dreaming of becoming an author or they're, 3/4 of the way through their manuscript, they are facing this affliction, and that is writer's block. And I think even if you're not a writer, you know what that means. It's when you sit down at your page, at your desk, whatever, you have the best intentions of writing, you want to write, you have the topic, you have the theme, and nothing comes out. And you just sit there and you stare. And as entrepreneurs, we get that creative block. If we post on social media, if we're writing blogs, if we're even about to go live, we get that block of, I have the time set aside, the kids are out of the house, and nothing is coming out of our fingertips. And it's so frustrating.
Yeah, right. Is that writer's block? What is that? What it's called?
Yeah, writer's block. Yeah. Have you not heard of this? Not a common term in your world? Maybe it's common because I'm in the publishing world.
Yeah, of course. No, I haven't. I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's just that creative block when you go out to do something and you've put it in your schedule for, today at 9:30, you're going to go and you're going to do something creative and nothing creative happens. And then it turns into this spiral in our guts and in our minds that it's really hard to overcome if you don't have a strategy in place to fight with it, to deal with it. Because what happens is we get creatively blocked and then we start feeling guilty and we start shaming ourselves because we're not using the time as we set out to do it. And then the next time we sit down, we feel guilty because we aren't 1,000 words deep into where we're supposed to be. And we just get caught in this spiral. And when I say in the beginning, like writers that haven't even started writing face writer's block, it's in that very early conception of like, I want to write a book, but the idea becomes really overwhelming and you face writer's block before you've even written word one. So I want to talk today about how do you get through that with intention, not just like waiting for it to happen and then dealing with it when it comes up. Because as we know, if you leave things to the last minute, if you wait till they're a problem, they're going to be a bigger problem than if you had dealt with it up front.
Yeah, it's true.
So Jill, you're in a creative space. When you come up against something that you've set aside time for it and you want to get creative, and nothing's happening. Do you have any tips and tricks that you work through?
The truth is, my people like use meditation, right? And for years, I was like, I don't have time to meditate. I don't meditate. Well, then I learned, okay, you don't really need an hour to meditate because I was always like, I don't have time. But I do like in the morning for like 5 minutes. That's it. And breathing, thinking, positive thoughts, positive actions for my day, calming myself, reminding myself not to act out in front of my kids, trying to be. So I take 5 minutes of space for myself every morning to really think about my day, to try to make it a better day than the day before, or, just to keep everything, then I open my, then I get out of the bed. Then that's when I deal with the kids. Then I go to the work emails and I start looking at all the people that I'm talking to. And I just feel, all right, these are good questions. I do a lot of preparation, but I'm telling you, it's that 5 minute period that I now take for myself in the morning just calms me, relaxes me, focuses me completely for the day. I never would do that. I would get up, run and ramp and go, and then I feel like this all day. But if I have a plan of action in the morning and just relax and think about everything calmly, it goes through the day better for me. That's what I do.
Yeah, I do that too, to be honest.
Oh, okay, cool.
I just started it. I lay in bed. So I used to be just like you, Joe. I would roll over and grab my phone, check those work emails, right? That's the first thing I do. And it puts your mind in such an icky space for the day. Now I lay in bed for that 5-10 minutes, breathe, think about, really not even think about the day, just think about the intention I'm setting for the day. And the same goes for our writing processes. And the thing here is the routine. So the routine doesn't have to be meditation. It works for Jill and I. Meditation is great. It goes a long way. Sometimes we can fall back asleep, which is like even better. But it's the routine that sets us up for the success of the day, because you're setting the intention very early on. Now, what I do with a lot of the writers that come to us, and when we set the routines and the schedules, is we'll set, let's say 9:30 in the morning, you're going to sit down and you're going to write for 30 minutes. At about 9:15, 9:20, I want you to kick into a routine, whether that be doing some light stretching, doing maybe a little brainstorming, just jotting down some ideas. Sometimes for people, it's journaling about something that's not related to your topic, but just getting in the flow of writing. It could be taking the dog for a walk. That used to be my early writing routine, is that I would go for a walk, look at the trees, feel the air on my face, and just get really centered on here and now, so that when I got back and into the writing zone, my mind was prepared for it.
Yeah.
And that's a really great way to set the routine. So it's about, I would say 10 minutes before you actually sit down at the computer, go through some sort of flow. Grab a coffee, grab a tea, fill up your water bottle, stretch your body out, do some breathing exercises, whatever it is that appeals to you, to give yourself permission to show up creatively in that 30-minute space, because you don't want to go into the 30 minutes and then spend 10 minutes going through all of this, or even worse, spend 30 minutes staring at a blank page. That's like I said, you're going to come back the next day and you're going to feel guilty and you're going to have all these icky feelings. Take the time up front to create the space in your mind and in your body to write. Now, if that still isn't working, I want to talk about some really cool exercises that you can do for writer's block.
Awesome.
And yeah. So do you have any questions about that process, Jill?
No, I'm curious. Because writer's block, I mean, I'm not a writer in a sense, right? I used to write scripts though for like the news, and there would be times where I couldn't get the words out, and now, so I'm going to use your advice and as well, because you never know, if I go back into writing my own scripts again, it's important, because sometimes you do get lost in that moment and it's like you feel so down and it just keeps digging down. So I'm ready. I got my pen just in case.
I see that you're taking notes. I love that. I do want to remind everyone, you can find all this information on our blog at nextpagepublishing.net. So if you miss a note, if you miss a tip, you can head there and you can read the blog. We put up blogs every week to help authors with these type of topics. So writer's block, yes, is that ability, or is that affliction to sit down, want to be creative, and nothing happens. So whether you're in screenplays, if you're writing books, if you're creating marketing content, whatever it is, It's not happening for you. What I want you to do is put that topic away and pull out something else. And so let's talk about you for a second, Jill. You're writing articles for the news. So it's in my world, I would translate it as nonfiction. It's fact, it's stories, it's real life stories, right? What I want you to do is step out of that space and step into a fiction space.
Okay.
Make something up. Spit out a story. Write like a paragraph about something, some fake character that you've made up. And what works really well for people that face writer's block a lot is, and I'm going to talk for those writing in the nonfiction space, create a fake character, give them a name, give them a hairstyle, and write about something that they did today. And it just takes your mind out of the, I'm stuck, I'm not being creative, to giving you a different topic and letting you be creative for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. That's all it takes. And then go back to the original topic and see what comes out. Those creative juices are flowing. That topic is maybe has some new life into it. And I love that one because it takes my nonfiction authors out of the, I only have to write fact and true story, to I can be creative, I can be embellishing, I can bring new life to maybe a stale topic. And it's very interesting to see when someone goes through that exercise, what happens to their nonfiction writing style. It brings in a level of excitement that I wouldn't normally see from somebody who's just slogging through because they're fighting that writer's block as hard as they can. And they're just working to get any words out. And then at the end of those 30 minutes, they're throwing it out anyways, because it's garbage.
Yeah.
And all it took was 2 minutes of writing about Jane, their fictional character, their elf, whatever their little character is. And it gives that creative spark some light again. So that's one option. Another option is to pull on a memory and write about that memory. And it can be a memory from like a year ago, a couple years ago. It could be a memory from the morning. Write about what you had for breakfast, what you enjoyed about having breakfast. And all you're doing is just getting into that reflective mode of creativity and giving yourself that time and space to let go of the guilt from not writing on your topic, because now you're focused on something new, something that is flowing. And so when you're done after 2 to 3 minutes, maybe you spend a little more time, come back to the original topic. That's exercise number 2. The third exercise is just don't do it. Don't write today. Yeah. And this one, I think people struggle with the most because there is that inherent guilt. I've set the time aside to do this. If I don't do it now, I am 1,000 words behind my deadline. If I don't do it now, what am I going to do with my space? Just don't write. Give yourself permission to step back. And sometimes it's the acceptance that if I do write, it's not going to be from the headspace that I need this content to be from. It's going to be from that space of guilt and ick and fight and just forcing yourself to do something that you really don't want to be doing right now. That isn't what you're meant to be doing right now. But instead of saying, okay, this is not the day for me, and instead of jumping into task number 2, jumping into email, I want you to do something fun for you. Make that time enjoyable. So instead of looking back on it as failed time that didn't go as planned, time that you feel guilty about, look at it as time well spent because you took care of yourself. It's 30 minutes of you time, of watching your favorite TV show, going for a walk, doing yoga on the deck, whatever it is that's bringing you joy. Because sometimes we as writers, writing brings me an immense amount of joy, and sometimes it brings me an immense amount of pain. And I need to step back from it. And instead of going through that immense amount of pain for 30 minutes, that is my me time. And I want to keep that time as a happy time so that when I come back tomorrow for that 30 minutes of writing, I am refreshed, I am recharged, and I know that this 30 minutes is a happy place for me to be.
Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, it is beautiful. It's It's a beautiful way to help writers love writing.
And would you mind just sharing how we can reach out to you?
Yeah, you can find us at nextpagepublishing.net. Again, you can find our blog. You can find a link to directly call in with me, have a one-on-one free 45-minute session where we talk about what goals you have for your book, for your story, for your brand. And I always start every call with, no matter where this goes, if we end up working together or not, the point of this call is to leave you in a better spot, to give you actionable steps that you can take to move forward. I had a potential client yesterday reach out, and she was like, I'm really, really excited. And this is actually her second book she wanted to work with me on. And she's like, I'm not quite in a space where I want to jump into the second book, but can you give me some feedback on my first book? And I was like, heck yes, let's talk about that first book. Let's talk about how to bring it into the world. It is a value added call for you, regardless of where you're at for writing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Wow. And by the way, I do have to ask about your books. Do you mind?
Yeah,
You listen all the time.
absolutely.
You're an author. Hello. Internationally, you taught me the whole how it works too to become internationally recognized or best-selling. What is the terminology?
International best-selling author.
Thank you. You stumbled me. See, I'm not good
Yeah,
with my
it's a
words all the time.
mouthful.
Tell us.
But
Tell us.
it's the mouthful that everyone recognizes, right? It's the distinction between, I work with a lot of coaches, and I will get to my books, but I do work with a lot of coaches, and they come in and they say, oh, I'm a certified blah, 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 blah. And in their world, that title probably means a lot, and they're probably really proud of that title. But if you're talking to your ideal client, the chances of them holding that title with any weight is so low, because it doesn't mean anything to them. They don't know that you spent thousands of dollars on education, that you spent 6 months training, that you've put in over 100 hours of coaching time. They don't know that. But international best-selling author, you immediately know that there's authority and there's credibility with that. And I have that in 3 of my books now. I have a sci-fi book, which is where I started, and it's the book that holds the special place in my heart. It's called The Defender, and it is about a woman who is really struggling, and she's pulled away from Earth into this alternate galaxy, this alternate timeline, and she's forced to fight for her life, for her existence. To be allowed to live. One of the first things she goes through is called a cataloging process. And it's literally assessing her threat level to decide if she can exist in this galaxy or if she gets to go to jail for the rest of her life. And it's exciting. And the reason I love it so much is because when I was writing the book, I was in a really dark place. I was really struggling. I was just like her. I was struggling so much. And if you've ever written a book or read a book, you know that a character who is struggling in the beginning, if they don't grow and change by the end of the book, it's a really sad book. That's not a book you want to read. You want to see someone grow and develop and become a better version of themselves. And so you can, picture yourselves in their shoes. And that's what I had to do with her in The Defender. I had to bring her out of this miserable place she was in and make her into the defender, make her into someone that was worthy of saving the galaxies. And so that's my first book. Absolutely love it. And I am thrilled. That book is 3 years old now. And since then I have stepped professionally out of the sci-fi world. I still write personally in sci-fi, but Next Page Publishing is stepping into fiction space again. And for those that are watching, you can see on my background, I have Enchanted Divinations up there. And it is a fiction book inspired by tarot. And I am just thrilled to have this project. So for anyone listening out there, this book is going to change the tarot space. It's going to change how we use tarot creatively, how we bring it into our lives. So if you are a creative tarot enthusiast or tarot curious like I am, this is definitely going to be a project you want to be a part of. So you can head to nextpagepublishing.net to find out how to apply to be in this book and how to win your seat as our featured author, because we are giving away one seat in this book to tell your short story
Wow.
for free as part of Enchanted Divination. So very excited to bring that offer forward. Yes,
Tell us how. Wait, hold on. Tell us the offer one more time.
yeah, so we are putting together, it's called Enchanted Divinations Tarot Inspired Tales, and it is a beautiful theme. What we're
Wow.
doing is we're pulling 5 tarot cards from a deck, and then we're asking authors to come in and write a fiction story on those tarot cards. And it's not a traditional reading where we go into the meaning of the cards. We want each author to pull the meaning out. We want them to look at a card and say, okay, this is the scene. This is my main character. This is going to be my problem in my book. And it's, as far as I know, has never been done this way before. And it's going to change the space of tarot, because a lot of tarot enthusiasts that I know of have they really want to incorporate it more into their lives. And they're looking for that way to bring it in and explore it more from their perceptions and their inspiration. And this is the project that's going to do that. So you can find more details on how to win your spot in this book, which is, a huge value for any author in the fiction space, because this book will be an international bestseller. There's no question about it. We've done the market research. We know what readers want, and this is what readers want. This is what the tarot community is looking for reading. So you can head to nextpagepublishing.net, and right at the very top, the first thing you're going to see is the website, the page for Enchanted Divinations. And I'm so excited about it. Like I said, this is Next Page Publishing's first step into fiction as a publisher. I've personally published sci-fi books, but as a publishing house, this is going to be our first intro to fiction. I just am thrilled.
Wow. Oh my goodness. This is exciting stuff today, Larissa.
It's going to be amazing. So again, that's a call out to all tarot enthusiasts, tarot creatives, tarot curious. If you want to put your voice into something that's going to change the world of tarot and how we use tarot in our creative lives, head to nextpagepublishing.net and check out the application form, because it's going to be life-changing. I'm so excited about it.
Yay. And one more time, tell us how we can reach you. This is exciting.
Yeah, nextpagepublishing.net for Enchanted Divinations. It's going to be the first thing you see on the webpage. It's going to take you to a full information sheet, how you can be entered into the contest to win your publishing spot, which includes, over $2,000 worth of editing. It includes all of your design costs. It includes your picture in the book. And it's really cool for those that are curious about writing fiction, because it's a short story. So it's not the full book that you're writing. You get 5,000 words, maybe 8,000 words, depending on the package you're choosing. So you're not getting that overwhelm, that writer's block of staring down the barrel of a full book. You're looking at a short story. And then for those authors that already have fiction books and are kind of struggling to promote it, this is a good way to get your writing into the hands of other readers, because you're going to be leveraging the audience of 14 other authors. The reach of a book like this is thousands of readers. Thousands of readers are going to have their eyes on your content. So if you have a book, this is one of the best marketing tools you can use, is to get into Enchanted Divinations.
Yay, this is exciting. Thank you. And I could see it there. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. We've been working on the cover art. We are securing our tarot designer right now. She is amazing. We're just finalizing the details. I can't say who yet, but she is famous in the tarot space. So once it happens, it's going to be amazing.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for being here. Remind us one more time how we can contact you.
Absolutely. So it's nextpagepublishing.net. Applications for Enchanted Divinations are open, and you can find more information on how to overcome writer's block in our blog.
Thank you. And start with a little meditation each day, like Larissa and I do. It could really help you. And use that fictional character you said. Okay, got it. My notes are somewhere here. I don't know if I have them right, but I wrote it. Thank you so much. You have a fantastic day, and looking forward to the next time we speak. Thank you, Larissa.
Bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.